Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's UW System Career Trek. My name is Kim Appel, and I am the Technology and Employer Relations Coordinator at UW Whitewater in Career Services. And I'm so very excited to start this season off for our spring semester career treks with a really great partner today with Cintas. So we hope that you're excited today. We've got a great presentation planned. I do have a few administrative things that I want to make sure that I cover with you today. So bear with me for a few minutes before we get to the good stuff. And then I'll turn it over to our guests today. So first things first, once again, welcome. This is our third year of doing the career treks as a UW system. And it's something that we put on each week during the academic year as an opportunity for all of you UW system students to be able to learn about some really great employers in Wisconsin. I have a few things just to do administratively. Like I said, we have a registration form for those of you that are coming here to get credit for either the UW Stevens Point Pro program or for UW Whitewater for a class or for the professional development here at UWW. So please make sure that you fill that form out when I throw it in the chat. I'll do that in a few minutes when I'm done speaking today, and I'll put it in there a few other times in case you miss it, just to make sure we get everyone in. So with that, I am going to do a really quick poll. So hopefully everyone will be able to see that in a moment, just to see where everyone's coming from today, what school you're from, and what school you are in. So if you can be awesome and fill that in, I'll give about 15 seconds for folks to do that. All right, so it looks like we've got a pretty good showing from Whitewater, Madison, woohoo! From Stout and Stevens Point. We've got some folks from Platteville or La Crosse, Eau Claire, River Falls, even somebody from Superior. That's awesome. Glad to see we've got some representation from the entire state. Sarah, for your reference, we have some sophomores, some juniors, mostly seniors, some fifth years, and then some staff here that are joining us as well. So just to get that going, I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. So with that, without further ado, I am so very, very excited to introduce our speaker today, Sarah Clanton of Cintas. Sarah is going to take away the sharing from me, and she's going to get started with her presentation.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm Sarah, and I'm so happy that you guys are all joining us. Thank you so much for taking time out to do this. I know you don't have to do that, so thank you so much for taking time out to come on and learn a little bit about Cintas Corporation and what we do. And I'm sure for a few of you, you probably have heard of Cintas before and what we do, but probably not as extensive as we'll talk today in all the different areas that Cintas is involved in. So we'll talk about that, and then we'll talk about opportunities for you all. It's so exciting that there are some seniors online, some juniors online. We have internships and opportunities post-graduation. So we'll talk about that too. You are more than welcome to jump in the chat. I think Kim will kind of monitor that chat. If you have any questions as we're going through, just jump out and say it. If you want to know more about something or what have you, you can just feel free to continue to talk while we're going through the presentation. But we'll also have time at the end to answer some questions that you all have about Cintas or me. So without further ado, let me do one thing. I would love to. I'm going to change up because I didn't put the audio on there. I should have. So can you all see my, we're looking at a little weird. So 1 second, you all. The first thing I'm gonna have you do is going to be to scan the QR code. This is just so that I have the information about you all. So I'm going to set that up real quick, and then we will move forward. So I'm gonna share my screen. I think everyone can see my screen now. Can you see see the presentation?
Sarah, you're on the open Zoom meeting, so
I'm sorry.
We got to get back to the presentation.
Let me move it back. Okay, perfect. All right, so you all looking, are we still on the open?
Yep, you're on the opening slide. You're good.
Oh, my goodness.
But I can see Cintas, so you're doing great.
Okay, All right, let's try this again. Share screen, sorry about that. This screen and share. All right, so you're all looking at the screen right now?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Okay, so we'll get started. So here is just a QR code for you all to fill out. You guys can take a second and just fill this out. This is going to give me some information about you all. Just a short form. It's going to tell you just a few things like your email address and year classification, things like that. A good way for me to reach you. And then after this presentation, I'll reach out with just some information about what we covered today. And if you want to follow up with me, you can do that as well. So this is just a form that just a QR code if you all want to scan this, and then I'll move along after that. But I'll give you like few more seconds to kind of scan this and sign into our system. Perfect. So let's talk about Cintas Corporation. So Cintas is the corporation is their corporate office is in Cincinnati, Ohio. So Cincinnati, Ohio is actually in a small place called Mason, Ohio. And Mason, Ohio is right across from Kings Island. So if you all have been to Kings Island in Ohio, if you look across the park, Cintas corporate office is right there. So we have over 40,000 employees, over 400 locations across the country in Canada. We also have some locations in Hawaii, so that's pretty cool. Over 11,000 fleet trucks that you see, those white trucks with Cintas across, it says that. And we are 3 times larger than our next competitor. So we're huge in the marketplace. This is just a map that tells you a little bit about where we're at. I know you guys are over here in the Wisconsin area, Milwaukee area, but just in case you went to college out there, but maybe you live in California, you're from California, or maybe you're from Florida or somewhere else. These are all the different locations that Cintas has across the country, from the rental division to fire to first aid and safety, and we're going to cover those 3 divisions. But just to get a map of kind of where we're at, you can kind of see all the different places where we're at, and you can absolutely choose where you want to be in the country when you start Cintas. So we have a vision at Cintas. We want to be recognized as a company that insists upon absolute honesty and integrity in everything we do. We think it's so important that our culture speaks about who we are, right? And when you all are looking for companies, culture is so important, right? Who we are, how we handle business is going to be crucial to getting other students or people to come and talk to us, and they know that they're going into a company that's ethical, that works hard, that's professional, right? So those are some of the things that we stick to when we're talking about our vision. So highly talented, diverse, and engaged team of partners who work safely, are capable with our culture and enjoy what they do. So we want to make sure that they're having fun. Everyone, if you go into a Cintas location or if you've been to one, you'll notice that everyone's smiling, they're having a good time, they're hanging out with each other. We're competitive, but we're family oriented, and you see that when you go into a facility. We have three standards to kind of highlight our culture. So our principal objective, our corporate character, and then our management systems. This is really what our company is based on. So we want to exceed our customers' expectations, and that maximizes the long-term value of Cintas for our shareholders and for our working partners. So our goal is that we just continue to grow. In the next 10 years, we want to grow in double digits. So, and the way to do that is to make sure that we're always putting our customers first, and that we're keeping in mind our shareholders and our working partners. And then our beliefs, our customers, and our way of working and how we approach our business, that's our corporate character. So we want to make sure that we're in our character and the way that we do things, that again, we're keeping our customers in mind, our shareholders, our working partners in mind, and we're approaching business in a way that makes sense to us. So we do something called we try to be Spartan. So Spartan is making sure that we're mindful of what we spend, right? We spend the company money as if it's our own money, and in that way we can make sure that we stay in business for a long time and that we're able to provide jobs for people for a long time. So in our corporate character, there's some guidelines or some guiding principles that we use to kind of determine like what character traits we want in partners that work for us, and then what character traits we want to display as a company that other people can see, right, when they look at Cintas. So what do people say about us, right? So professional is really something that we always want to be. We always want to be professional in everything we do. If you see a Cintas partner, you'll see that typically they're in a business suit if they're not in their uniform. So we have my my mentor used to say, we have our dirties and we have our cleans. When you're out on a truck, you're in your uniform, those are your dirties, and then your cleans are your a full suit, right? So that's how we are. That's how professional that we want to be. Ethical, thorough, hardworking. We hold ourselves to a very high standard. So we want to be the #1 provider of facility services, first aid and safety and fire equipment for businesses. Courteous, enthusiastic, humble, and then so these core values are what we say we want we want to be as a company, and that's what you'll see when you come to Cintas. Even if you do sometimes we do site visits, or if you come in and just do a plant tour, you'll notice that right off as soon as you walk into the building, you'll notice that when you see the partners that work with us. So we operate with a sense of positive discontent, and we say that we operate with a sense of positive discontent, meaning that we're always wanting to be better, right? So we're never satisfied with where we're at. We always want to be better. We're happy with what we're doing, but we always want to look for opportunities to be better. Competitive urgency. We handle every detail of our business. Like if we didn't, then we would lose a customer, right? So we handle our business in such a way that we're always urgent with all needs that need to be met. We make sure that we're competitive with each other, but we want to make sure that we're consistently urgent. And then we have a huge passion for growth. So what you'll see, especially in our management training program, which I'll talk about in a little bit, is that we have a operations mindset and a sales mindset. So to get together, that management training program is set up for you to be successful in both operations and sales, right? And sales is really the only way that you can grow the business, really, is through sales. So that's why we want to focus on both those things. So our ESG report. So we are really big in the environment and making sure that we have sustainable practices and that we are doing right by the environment, right? And there's some things that play into that, right? We have one of the largest fleet in the United States, which means that's pollution, right? We have a lot of trucks running, so we're very mindful of that and how much pollution we have in the air. We launder garments, right? So Cintas does facility services and laundering garments, and so we have huge industrial washers and dryers. That's a lot of energy. That's a lot of water that is being washing garments, and then dirty water coming out of that, right? So we have wastewater facilities at our plant to make sure that the water that goes out to the city is clean, fresh water for the city. So we're always finding ways to be conscious of our environment and make sure that we're here for a long time, right? So there's a partner that focuses just on ESG and what we can do to minimize our footprint. Diversity. So diversity has always been at the core of who we are as an organization. We have something called PBRGs, which are Partner Business Resource Groups. And those Partner Business Resource Groups are groups that represent under the different minority organizations. So they go from WAVE is our women in business, or women's organization. TOTOS is our Latina organization. RISE 2 is our African American organization, and Valor is for military veterans. And then we just added 2 additional PBRGs to our organization. One is for LGBTQ, and then the other is for Pacific Islanders. So those are the 6 PBRGs that we have right now. I assume that we will continue to grow as we see representation in our business of different minority groups. We'll continue to grow with those PBRGs. But the biggest thing to look for when you're looking at a company, you're looking for PBRGs, or what are they doing from a diversity standpoint, is or do they understand the partners that work with them, right, and what they identify as, and also who are allies of those organizations that they might be identified as, or minority groups that they identify as, and then what are they doing to help those partners. So there's a ton that we could talk about from a PBRG standpoint and what we do, but some of the big things: leadership conferences, one-on-one sessions. You'll have different engagement things. Something's fun. We have a bingo sometimes, some nights. When we're looking on campus, we're also talking to the Career Center in different areas that work with diverse students, right? And we're talking to them about what we do, and we can put on events. Last semester, we had the DEI department in a university come on to a Cintas facility and do a full day at that facility, go through presentations from a plant tour to lunch. So it was really neat to do some of that as well. So we're able to do that with this, and just a ton more. Cintas Cares. This is one I really enjoy as well. So Cintas Cares is our philanthropy initiatives, and these are things, again, which is a part of how we were founded and who we are as an organization. There's some big organizations within that we work closely with. So American Heart Association and Matthew 25 Ministries are two of the big ones that we work with, but we also do a lot of different things, like we go to Haiti and we do some mission trips in Haiti. We also, within each local organization, we have something cool that we do, which is on your birthday, Cintas donates a portion of some money towards your specific whatever organization you want to donate money to. So each partner on their birthday gets to donate a certain amount of money to an organization that they are personally care about and that they want to see some money go towards, right? And so that's pretty cool. And then we have a partner resource as well, where partners can donate if there is a natural disaster. So if something's going on somewhere. Florida just had some bad luck with weather, and we were able, as partners, come together and as well as Cintas to donate money to help those partners in Florida. So there's a ton that we do from Cintas Cares, and each location does things locally as well. But these are some of the big initiatives that we do from that standpoint. Also, because we deal in first aid and safety and fire stuff, during COVID-19, we just had a massive undertaking of helping with things like sanitizers and chemicals. We had a chemical that kills the virus, so we were able to distribute that to our partners and make sure that they were always wiping down areas from at the facility, but also at home. They were able to take that stuff home and use that as well. And we also provided masks. So I want to get into kind of the different divisions. If you're saying, okay, what all does Cintas do? There's a ton that we do. I named the top 3 things that we are involved in, which is our facility services, first aid and safety, and fire. But we'll go through each one of these blocks and talk about what that looks like, what Cintas does in those markets, how we help businesses, as we like to say, get ready for the workday. So we'll start with rental. So our rental is our largest division within Cintas. It's the bread and butter, is how we started. So rental is rental facility services, that and uniform rentals. So if you've been to any place like maybe a mechanic shop, or if you go to get your car serviced at a dealership, the people who wear those uniforms are usually wearing a Cintas uniform, right? And those uniforms are rented to them and each week picked up and washed. If you say, well, then what do they wear when they're being washed, right? They get 2 weeks worth of uniforms, so that they always have uniforms on them, and then the uniforms that we wash and bring back to them weekly. So that's so if you've been to anything like a mechanic shop or maybe a plant, any facility where they need that, a place where they do welding, they need flame resistant garments, Cintas does that. So we do everything from a uniform rental perspective, and then we also do facility services. So I don't know how many of you guys have ever worked in a restaurant, but if you've ever worked in a restaurant, you probably see that there's towels in the back of the house or aprons that need to be washed and handed back to you all. Cintas does that. So we wash all those towels, aprons. We have chemicals for a 3-compartment sink. We do floor chemicals. We do, if you've been in any Subway, you probably see logo mats when you walk in the door. We do those. Starbucks, we service every Starbucks across the country. So we service them with chemicals and products that they need. You name it, if you see a floor or a restroom, Cintas is probably in there doing something. So all dispensers that go into a restroom, Cintas does that. And then the tall sanitizer stands, if you happen to see those when you walk into a building, look and see if there's a Cintas logo on there. So Cintas does that as well. So that's our rental / facility service business. If you're in a hospital, we do the scrub machines. And I don't know if you guys ever watched, it's kind of old now, but there was a show called Scrubs. It was really funny back in the day. And on that show, they would have to throw in pieces of clothes to get some scrubs out. So it's really funny, but not exactly how the scrub machine works. But we do scrubs. So we install these huge scrub machines, and everybody from housekeeping all the way up to the doctors and the directors, anyone that puts on a scrub, pull scrubs from our scrub machine. And then we service that weekly. We also do chef work. So if you're into cooking, we take care of all that. We are the exclusive provider of Carhartt. So if you like Carhartt work apparel, we do that, flame resistant. And then we do something that a lot of people don't know about, which is clean room. So Clean Room is a really cool initiative, and it's for companies that have to have extremely clean environments. So think about a company that provides the food for babies. So Abbott, food processing facility, right, that provides baby food. They can't have dust, dirt, anything around there. Those clean garments are what they use for that type of stuff. So we have facilities that are just clean room facilities. They have to suit up before the partners walk to the facilities, and they clean and prepare every garment that goes out to our customers that have to have those clean facilities. So those are just a few things that as it relates to kind of the rental side. And then on the other side, as we talk facility services, you've probably seen those restroom supplies, those cool colored dispensers in the restroom. Cintas provides those, everything from restroom cleanings to dispensers to mops that they wash and relaunder weekly, microfibers in hospitals, everything like that we take care of. Oh, let's see if I can move to the next slide. All right, perfect. So direct sale. So direct sale is another area of business that we take care of. And if you've seen any of these companies down here at the bottom, so Disney, Marriott, Royal Caribbean, Southwest Airlines, United Airlines, we take care of their uniforms as well. So they are in a different program than a rental program. So these customers come to us and say, can you help design a uniform for us? And then can you make sure that every employee, whenever we start a new employee, they have uniforms, and they'll wash them on their own, they'll take care of them, but can you make sure that you're always providing these uniforms for us? So that's what we do at some of these cool places. So if you go to Marriott and you see the suits that they wear behind the desk, that's Cintas suits. If you go to Southwest Airlines, we take care of everything from above the wing to below the wing, if you've ever heard of that term. That means from the pilot all the way down to the person who loads the luggage. We take care of all of their uniforms, every different uniform that they wear, from the flight attendant to the pilot to the load unload team, to the people who are working outside with those lights. We take care of all that. And then we do some cool stuff like Vegas. We take care of the casino workers. We do all the uniforms for them. For if you're on a cruise line, Royal Caribbean, we do all those uniforms. We're in Hawaii. We take care of a lot of those hospitality facilities in Hawaii. So, and we have a Hawaii location, which is really cool. So yeah, so if you've ever seen these, you can rest assured that Cintas is making sure that they have professional looking uniforms for their employees. First aid and safety is our other division that we cover. First aid and safety is first aid and safety supplies, AEDs, eye washes, anything that you need from a safety training compliance, so CPR certification, anything like that. Cintas takes care of all of that for businesses. So if you go to like maybe your nurse's station at campus and you look at that medicine cabinet, it might be a Cintas cabinet. Right? So we take care of all that stuff. And then we either come on site to a facility or they come on site to our training facilities and we train them on those certifications that they need, right? So that's another huge division. That's our second largest division. So rental being our first, and then first aid and safety is our second largest division across the country. For some reason I hit the link sometimes and it messes me up. All right, and then fire is our third largest division. So our fire division it's newer than the other two, but not extremely new, just a little newer. But we do fire extinguishers, fire sprinkler systems, like fire suppression systems, fire alarm panels, entrance and exit lighting. So anything that you need from a fire standpoint for a business. And when I think of that, I think of maybe like hotels or campuses where you have all those sprinkler systems above you. Cintas takes care of. So we not only install a lot of this stuff, we also service all this stuff for employee or for companies. So if you ever, I don't know if anybody's ever watched the show Quantico, but we do the Quantico building. So a huge FBI building with a ton of stairs. We do all their fire needs there. So we do a ton of stuff from a fire perspective, and we're always looking for partners for that division as well. So we're going to switch topics from what Cintas does to kind of what Cintas is looking for and in you all. So we're on a lot of campuses and we're talking to students about opportunities with Cintas in either our internship program or our management trainee program. So I want to switch gears a little bit and talk to you a little bit about that. But before I do you have any questions for me as it relates to Cintas and our business? Perfect. So if you do, keep in mind that you can always jump on the chat and ask any questions, but I'll start with my story. So I started with Cintas 9 years ago as a management trainee. At that time, it was I always think it's funny when we talk about like all the hoops you had to jump through that aren't available, that you don't have to do now. But I had something like probably 5 interviews at that time. I had a 2-hour placement test that I had to do, and then it was an 18-month program. So a lot to get in to the management training program. And at that time, they didn't have people like me, and I'm a campus talent acquisition manager. So 9 years ago, we didn't have this position. And so you were recruited locally. So I went to college in Ohio, was recruited in Ohio, and I had to work in Ohio, even though I was from Indianapolis, and I probably would have preferred to be in Indianapolis. So at that time, that's kind of where I was stationed, and I'm very fortunate that I was there. But through my time with Cintas, I've done that management training program, and then after that, we moved computer systems, and they needed a team of people to do organizational change management, and they said, hey, how would you like to travel across the country for the next 2 years doing organizational change management and system conversions? And I had never done anything with IT, but they needed some people who were willing to travel, and why not travel in Cintas, right? So I spent the next 2.5 years leading a team across the country doing organizational change management and helping our partners transition from an old system to our new SAP system. So that was pretty cool. A lot of travel, really 4 weeks on the road, 1 week at home every week. So it was a lot of travel, but it was so much fun. I got to see so much of the country. I got to meet so many partners, so many leaders in our company, and I got to lead a team. So that was pretty awesome. From there, Charlotte was one of the cities that I went to. I traveled to, and I just absolutely loved it. So once I decided that I was kind of done traveling, I said, I want to live in Charlotte. So moved to Charlotte and became a service manager at one of our Charlotte locations. We have 2. So became a service manager at one of those locations. And then from there, I spent some time as a service manager for a few years. And I said, okay, it's time that I need to move into a different role and get some more experience. So I moved over to sales and became a new business sales rep. And then from there, me and my fiance had a daughter, and decided that it made more sense for me to be back home and have my family around, and they could help with our little ones. So decided to move back home, and this position was one that I really loved because I am an MT, and I loved helping recruit the future leaders of our company. Our CEO was a management trainee, and I just think that it's such an important role. So I took the role as a campus talent acquisition manager, and what I do now is talk to all you lovely people. So I get to manage the relationship between schools and Cintas, and UW is one of my schools that I work heavily with to help manage that relationship, so you guys know who we are. So we're on campus. You want to stop by and say hi to us, and then talk to you all about opportunities with Cintas, but also just opportunities in general. So as you're coming in your junior and senior year, there's so much out there, and sometimes you just don't know where to turn to figure out what's available. So I help you with that too, even if it's not with Cintas. I like to just help you, even if it's a resume review, going over interview, elevator pitch, what have you, whatever you need, I'm there to kind of help assist you as well. So our management training program is a 15-month program, and it's going to get you experience in all 4 of these areas. So operations, production, the warehouse, HR and office, sales. So it's going to give you experience in all of these rotations, and it's going to give you a well-rounded understanding of operations and business. So in production, you're going to learn the production facility, how we make sure that we purchase product, make sure it's available, that it's quality audited, that everything that we need is now set up on trucks so that the drivers can go out and service customers. You're going to move over to service, and you're going to learn how we service customers, how we retain business, and how we grow business. You're also going to learn the managerial side of that too, right? How we coach and develop our drivers, or what we call our SSRs, and also how we do reviews, how do we schedule, how we do routing. So making sure that we're routing, that the routes make sense, right, where they're going. So you learn all of that in that service side. In office, you're going to learn audits. You're going to learn how we do our financials, our month end. You're going to learn AR and customer service, and just how to manage those partners that work in that area. And then you're going to go over to sales, and you're going to spend your last 3 months in sales learning everything there is to know about sales. So everything from our RBS process, which is relationship-based selling, to business to business, understanding cold calling, understanding closing. If you guys are in a sales program or you know anything about sales, you'll know some of these terms. So you'll how to prospect. So you're going to learn all that. That 15-month program is packed. And it is just such a great program to understand how a business functions. Outside of Cintas, it just tells you how operations and how businesses grow and sustain being a top performer, right? So that's what you're learning in that management training program. And I'm going to show you a little clip, if it'll play for me, that gives you a little bit of management training in one of the locations. And this location is close to my heart because it's my home location. So if this will play, I'm going to switch over real quick. And let's hope I have the sound so you can hear it. Can you guys hear the sound?
Yep, I can hear it.
Perfect. So right here, I'll talk you through it a little bit. This is one of our management trainees in Dayton, Ohio, the location I came from. Another management trainee here, and they're working in the route room. This is the route room where all the drivers come in. That's their PRC in their hand. They have their invoices. They're managing their invoices, making sure that they have all the customers that they're going to service for the day. Those mailboxes in the back are what the drivers each have their individual mailboxes and have everything that they need. And they check all their customers, make sure they have all the products ready to go out on the truck. This is our stock room. So this is our plant, our facility service. And again, this is from a rental perspective. We have first aid, safety, and fire as well, but from a rental side, these are uniforms. If you list those uniforms, that's a Toyota uniform that was back there with the red and black. So Toyota Servicing Center. Everything with the high vis garments. Maybe you'll see that if you're driving, you see someone on the street waving a sign, making sure you stay out of the way of work that's being done on the street. We take care of all that. Some of those garments. This is our sorting facility, so sorting garments. Some plants are auto sort and some plants are manually sorted. I come from a manual sort plant. This plant, they're sorting those garments. They have partners that typically do that, but sorting those garments. These coats are, a lot of times they're coats for like a chicken factory or something like that. They're hanging garments, for putting pants and shirts and hanging them up. This is on the truck. So these are the trucks that we have. We have two different types of trucks for rental, one for facility services and one for uniforms. And the uniform trucks have big rails that uniforms sit on. So this is what our fleet looks like in the parking lot. So that's when they're in their service rotation. They spend a lot of time there. And then you move into the office and sales rotation. So this is the front house, the front part of our Dayton location. So here he's dealing with customer service things and sales. So selling to prospecting clients and also working with the current clients that we have and growing those accounts. So this is just a little bit about our Dayton facility. And then I can back to our PowerPoint. Perfect. Let me see if I can end the video. Awesome. So that's a little bit of the day in the life. If you do schedule time with me after this, I will send you a video that's a little longer. It's about a 6-minute video, and it covers like the full day in the life. It's got more where the MCs are talking. They're sharing some of their experiences. So you can watch that too. But for the purpose of this, I didn't want to do one that's extremely long. So outside of our management training program is what are we doing from a developmental standpoint, right? I know that we're understanding business and we're going to learn about sales and what the company needs, but how do I personally get development throughout my time as a management trainee, right? So professional mentorship program, every management trainee gets a mentor, and that mentor is someone typically that is set up to coach and develop you, to help you with things you need. That's not your boss. A lot of times they're not in the building with you, right? So you get to have unfiltered conversations with them. A lot of times they've been in multiple positions and they're able to provide some insight for you. And I'll tell you a cool story. I talked to you about culture and how we care about people first. When I was in Dayton, Ohio, my general manager knew that I wanted to be in Indy, or I wasn't sure if I wanted to live in Indy, but I was very close to my family. There's 9 of us and my siblings, and we're real close to our family. And so when he was looking for a mentor for me, instead of giving me a mentor in the Dayton area, he gave me a mentor that sat out of Indianapolis. And then whenever I wanted to go home for the weekend, or I just felt like I needed some time off, he would say, hey, take the Friday, go do lunch with your mentor in Indianapolis, and then spend the weekend at home. So that's such a cool example of people first. Like we, at Cintas, that care about you and what your development and who you are as a person, making sure that you're taken care of. So my mentor was a service manager at the time, who's now a general manager, and it was just cool that I was able to have that in Indianapolis, and I was able to go home the way I wanted to. So dedicated business and financial training. Our GMs know it all. So you're going to get financial training from Cintas and what our numbers are, our projections are, right? What our deliverables are. But you're also going to get stuff like maybe you have questions about your 401k. Maybe you have questions about how do I invest my money and what does this look like? What should I spend on? I'm getting a raise. How much should I save? Where should I, make sure that I have? Maybe you have questions about, maybe this is the first time that you got to deal with your own health insurance and benefits, and you have questions on that. Our general managers, they are phenomenal. Your debrief and your time with them are going to be spent not only developing you from a Cintas partner perspective, but from a personal perspective too. Exposure to executive leadership. Every person that's a management trainee gets to go to corporate and spend a week at corporate. It's something we call core course. And during that session, you're going to get to talk to our entire executive team, from the CEO to CFO to the chief diversity and HR director, each president of each division. So you're going to get a lot of exposure from those C-level executives and those people that were just in your shoes maybe 30 years ago or so. You'll get projects. You'll spend some time working on projects and different things like that. And then there's a ton of trainings that you get. So sales training, we talked about RBS, diversity and inclusion training, green belt certification. So if you like Six Sigma and green belt stuff, you're going to get exposure to that. Our core course, which I mentioned, and then meticulous hiring, which is our process that we use for hiring. Kind of want to end on what your Cintas career path looks like. So typically we have either interns or MTs that start. It's a 15-month program. From there, your first position is always going to be a sales position. Some people do sales they want to be a salesperson, right? So they'll move up the sales ladder, which is sales rep, sales manager, sales director, VP, what have you, maybe a major account manager in the sales room. But most of our management trainees spend a little time in sales and say, okay, now I want to get back into operations. Our goal is that you're a general manager in about 5 to 7 years. So for the majority of people who don't stay in sales, they'll maybe spend 6 months to a year in sales, depending on if you want that accolade. If you spend a year, you can get a couple accolades that help you as you're, interviewing for a different position. But it really kind of depends on you. We just really want you to get some experience in sales and how we grow the business, right? Then you'll come back into the operation. You can do plant manager, operations manager, key account manager. Key account manager deals with our existing customers, or you can do a service manager. So there's a ton of different roles within the operation you can do as well. And then ultimately, like I said, our goal is that in about 5 to 7 years, you're running your own facility, 140 partners, over $1 million revenue. Just a ton of stuff that comes with a full operating location. And it's a huge jump for management training, even from interns all the way to that. So there's a lot that goes into developing you and making sure that you're ready for those next steps. So you can see here, branch manager, general manager is kind of where we want you to land in about 5 to 7 years. And then from there, director roles, group vice president roles, and then up. Our CEO, I said, was a management trainee. So 75% of our executives come through our management trainee in the program. And the cool thing about our management trainee program is that's really our pipeline to every leadership position. So we don't hire a ton from the outside. We hire about 420 management trainees a year. And we use those management trainees as the fillers for every single leadership position that we have throughout the company. So you're going to see everybody, as you meet people and bump into people, they'll tell you, yeah, I was a management trainee. I was a management trainee. So that's really our pipeline to moving up to all those different positions that if you're career driven, that possibly you're aspiring to be in. So this is really the end of our presentation. That covers Cintas, our management training program, and who we are and who I am.
Well, thank you so much, Sarah. I learned so much. I had no idea that Cintas really did all of the things that you just mentioned. Just looking around my office, I'm like, there's a bunch of stuff that probably Cintas was involved with in some point. So that's really cool. For all of you that are here, I'm sure you have some really great questions for Sarah, but I'll kick it off with one so far. If you do have a question, please feel free to throw it in the chat and I'm happy to read it out for you. Otherwise, I've got a few questions that we can start with that have come in to me directly. So I'll start with one of those.
Perfect.
So first of all, can you talk a little bit about the work-life balance at Cintas?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's such a hot topic right now, and it's so important. I think that before COVID, we might not have worried as much about work-life balance, or might not have focused as much on it as we do now, and understand the importance of that time away from work and what that looks like. So Cintas does a really good job of giving you a flex schedule that works with what you need to do outside of work, right? So making sure that we work Monday through Friday, we're off weekends, we're off holidays, and we're off on our birthday. So that's pretty cool. But within that, we are early risers, so we get up early because we go to businesses before they start their day. So we're up early, typically in the morning, but then that also means you're off early. So, you know, some of my drivers get in at 5 and by 11 o'clock, they're done for the day, right? So that's really cool. Also, you know, as a management trainee, you are a salary member of management. You are not hourly. So that means that your schedule is set by you. You, depending on what department you're in at that time, you might have to meet those needs or whatever the partners need. But ultimately, if you have a soccer game, or your sibling has a soccer game, they want to get to at 3 o'clock, you want to be there for them, you go to the soccer game at 3, right? So you get to have that flexible schedule. And then depending on what department and what their schedule looks like in sales, they're 8 to 5 position, right? But you're out in the field. So you got to go to a doctor's appointment, you go to the doctor's appointment, then you go to your next appointment. You just work your life into what you're doing.
That's awesome. Okay, another question that came in is what types of internships does Cintas have available? You mentioned that there are some, but can you go into a little bit more about those internships and when you would start applying for those?
Yeah, absolutely. So I know I talked about management trainee, but not as much about interns. So if you guys are in your junior year and ready for an internship, we would absolutely love to talk to you about internships. So your internship is typically done wherever you're going to spend your summer at, right? So wherever you're thinking you're spending your summer at, that's where you want to apply to intern at. And that internship is between 10 to 12 weeks, 8 weeks, kind of depending. If you have family vacation, you're like, I'm going to be gone for a couple of weeks once school ends before I start my internship, perfect, right? You'll just start after, or if you need to take time off during the internship to do that, you can do that as well. But that internship is a paid internship. And that internship gives you experience the same way management trainee, but not as long, right? So it's a condensed version, but you're going to get production, service, office, and sales in that 10 weeks, right? You're going to get exposure to all that. And then there are some people that say, hey, I don't want to just end in the summer. Can I do an internship through the fall, through the spring? I have time to do that. Absolutely, you can. So if you're interested in doing an internship that spans maybe the fall and spring semester, we're able to do that too. And again, it's a paid internship, and you get to work in the different departments. You'll have a little project that you get to work on, and we typically have 2 to 3 interns at each location, so you get to intern with other people that possibly go to your university.
All right. So you mentioned some great internships there. And if someone's interested in being a management trainee role, when is the best time to apply for one of those?
Right away. So we are always looking for interns and management trainees. My job is all year round. It never stops. So we have heavy recruiting season, and that's based around the university and when their career fairs are, when school's in session. But we look for management trainees throughout the entire year. So anytime that you are interested in a management training position or internship position, please reach out to me. If you want to send over your resume to me, I will set up time to talk. I have a Calendly link, and that Calendly link is set up so that you can just pick a time that works best for you and jump onto my calendar. We'll talk for 15 minutes and we'll do something called a Cintas chat. And that chat will cover anything. It's informal. You can be in a polo or t-shirt, what have you. And we're just going to talk about careers, right? We'll talk about Cintas and Cintas careers, but we can also talk about if there's something you're interested in outside of Cintas. Maybe if you don't want to be a management trainee, but you want to work at the corporate office and do something. We have a design collective location that does fashion. If you're interested in fashion and you want to go to Chicago and work at our Chicago corporate office that does fashion for maybe the casinos and things like that, we can talk about that too. So that's it. 15-minute chat is just set up to talk to you about what you're looking for. And then if you want to move forward in the process, then I'll schedule you for your first interview right there on that chat.
All right, fantastic. One more question that I'm seeing that came in. What's your favorite part of working at Cintas?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, there's so much. Probably the people. Man, everybody, we just have phenomenal partners that work at Cintas. Everything about what we do is just geared towards people. And so you'll see that when you first come in from the plant ladies. If you work in the plant for a while, you'll notice that they're going to literally like feed you and feed you. They're going to cook and constantly bring you stuff to eat and make sure you're okay. They're like your parents almost, like your mom and dad. When I was in the plant, they're like, did you sleep well last night? Did you get something to eat? Are you warm? And they're just loving and caring, and they want to take care of you. And they see so many management trainees that come through that they embrace you and they want to teach you everything they know. And that's one of the cool things about getting out there and getting hands on is you get to learn from all those partners. You get to learn from everything that they're doing. And it's pretty cool. So I would say the partners throughout my career, I've always had excellent partners, excellent official mentors and not so official mentors, but people that I've just connected with that helped me along my path.
All right, well, that's all the questions I'm seeing. Any last questions from the chat? Last chance to pick Sarah's brain or learn a little bit more about Cintas.
Yeah. I'm putting my email address and my phone number. You are more than welcome. Some people like to email and some people prefer to text. Whatever you like to do, if you want to get in contact with me and you're interested in opportunities within Cintas, I would love to talk to you. So please reach out to me either by email or by text or call, whatever you're most familiar with, LinkedIn, however you would like to reach out. And please reach out to me and we can talk about opportunities with Cintas. And outside of that, shameless plug, we will be on campus in a few weeks. We would love to see you. So we have a few events that are going on that the Career Center is sponsoring. So we want to see you at the career fairs. There's 2 career fairs coming up. If you don't already know when those are, and I know they're different for what each UW university, but we will be at the career fair for Whitewater, and we will also be reaching out for the other career fairs. Even though we might not be there, we'll reach out through Handshake. So please feel free to see us at those career fairs on the 14th and the 15th if you're at Whitewater. If you're not at Whitewater, go to your local career fairs. If you don't see us there, which we try to be there, if you don't see us there, please reach out to me and we'll talk still.
All right, awesome. I did get Sarah's information, and those of you that fill out the registration form will also receive her contact info, as well as the video that she was referencing and a few other things as well. So with that, I'm not seeing any other questions. So just a few last administrative things for me to cover. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen quickly. All right, so once again, thank you, Sarah, for taking the time out of your day to share all of this really great information about Cintas with us. It truly was eye-opening once again to see all of the different things and to see how quickly that career path escalates for management trainee and beyond. That's really awesome. So as a reminder to everyone, please make sure that you fill out the participation form. I threw it in the chat. I can throw it in one last time, just to make sure that if you are part of the professional development program at Stevens Point or Whitewater or attending for a class, that we can get you the credit you need. Truly appreciate it. I do want to give a huge thanks to our UW System Career Track Planning Committee, who puts together this really great series each semester to make sure that our students have access to some fantastic companies like Cintas. Truly a really great way to just learn about more opportunities and see what's all out there. So with that, I do want to share our official website of the career tracks is at uwrf.edu/UWS career tracks. You can see a full list of all the upcoming treks. And in addition, you can view the recordings of the past treks that we've done since fall 2020. So we've got over 60, I think, recordings now, which is really awesome. So if there's something you're out there interested in, it's possible we've done a trek about a company and you can check them out. This trek has been recorded as well. So it will go live on that website on Monday. So if you want to share it with a friend or want to rewatch something, please feel free to stop by that website and you'll be able to see it and rewatch that video and share with somebody that might be interested. The last thing to share with you is that this is obviously the first of many treks for this semester. Next week on Tuesday, February 7th at 2 p.m., please come back and join us to see Chileta. I hope I'm saying that right, UW Lacrosse. So they will be hosting a really great organization so that you can learn more about them next week. We hope you'll join us. You can register on Handshake for that. And with that, I just want to say one final thank you to Sarah for joining us today, and thank you to all of you for coming today, and have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday.
Thank you all. I appreciate you taking time.